Girl, get out of here so I can talk about Maya Hawke. Welcome to a music review for somebody who I've been meaning to talk about for a long time. And since she came out with an album today, I think now's the perfect time, and that is Maya Hawke. The day of filming this, Maya Hawke has released her album Chaos Angel, but you might know Maya from Stranger Things because she plays Robin Buckley. Another Stranger Things face may come up in this album, but we'll get to there. I'm a fan of both Maya's music and acting, and today I just wanted to talk about my initial thoughts and how I interpreted her latest album. If you've watched my reviews before, you know how this goes. I give my overall thoughts, we go track by track, and then I give my top 3. Overall, the idea of the Chaos Angel is something very interesting to me. In an interview, Maya Hawke said that the Chaos Angel is this character that is supposed to be the love angel. She is sent to Earth, and the only thing that she's capable of doing is causing chaos. So instead of spreading love, she's just spreading chaos. This concept of a character being like, oops, I mess up at love, is something interesting and also a fine line. I think it can become cliche if you don't do it right. Luckily, Maya Hawke did this perfectly. It seems like to me, love songs, at least the mass majority of them, fall into 2 categories. You have the ones where everything's like, love is perfect, love is grand, everything's going great for me. And then you have the ones where it's like, this person sucks, I hate my ex, love is bad. Love songs seem to be very black and white. Chaos Angel is a love album, but it is very nuanced. The themes that it explores, has good and bad, exist together. There's moments where love is great, there's moments where love is fun. There's other times where it's like, man, this hurts. And then there's also these moments of self-awareness where the Chaos Angel, or Maya, however you want to go about that, is aware that they are the problem. Overall, just some very relatable situations to be in. But also this understanding of love can be both good and bad at the same time, and this very nuanced discussion is very interesting. Maya is very poetic in her words, like extremely so. You could just take all the music away from this and just publish the lyrics and have it just be a full-on poem. It reminds me a lot of Phoebe Bridgers' Boy Genius, that kind of feel. Both the style of lyricism, but also just because it's so poetic. If you're a person who likes very poetic lyrics, I definitely suggest checking out Maya Hawke. Now, if you're the type of person who is more interested in how a song sounds and you want an upbeat, fast, crazy song, I still suggest checking out Maya Hawke just for the heck of it, but maybe she won't be your thing. Now, as I said before, Maya Hawke is an actor, and I think you can tell. Both the music itself and even the music videos for the music, they're very cinematic. You can tell that she's playing a character and trying to convey something to you. I know that there's a lot of actors who do music and a lot of musicians who do acting, but the fact that Maya can find balance within these 2 things, find a way to squeeze her acting into her music, it's very interesting. I think her actor mind brings such an interesting perspective to music, and I wish more people did that. She actually mentioned, because she's an actor, she is aware that, you know, when you play movies and you're playing a character, there's still parts of you that are in that character because it's you playing that role. She said she wanted that with her band. So every instrument you hear in this album, she said that she wanted that musician to kind of have their DNA in it. Now let's get into the actual tracks of this thing. Now, the album starts off with Black Ice. I couldn't help but think about what Black Ice is, in that it's not what it appears to be. I think Black Ice is a perfect way to describe this character that Maya Hawke is introducing us to. The Chaos Angel is supposed to be the love angel. She's supposed to spread love, but she's spreading chaos. I think the same sort of level of deceit can be seen in Black Ice. Much like Black Ice, the Chaos Angel is not what she appears to be. I also noticed, this could just be me, but when I was listening to this with headphones on, you could almost hear like the snare wire. There's like this wire that goes underneath the snare drum, and sometimes when things are loud enough that vibrates, and I can almost hear something like that in this song. And I love it. I love little details like that. I love when songs have little details like that. Whether you have like guitar strings buzzing, or even like when someone completely messes up. I didn't catch that in this album, but there's like some songs where someone will play something and it'll be like an absolute flop and they'll keep it in there, and I love that. Because it's just little reminders that this music is made by people. In a world where everything's AI, I just love little reminders like that. If that is a snare wire buzz, I'm not sure. Now, a lyric that stood out to me is "Give up, be loved." The Chaos Angel is trying so hard to be the love angel, that she's messing so much up in the process. I think that's relatable to humans, not just angels. It's this idea of you try so hard to kind of force things to happen, but the only way true love can actually happen is if you just let it be and you let it come to you instead of just forcing things to happen. This song has a Sadie Sink feature. There's actually a couple people that do the vocals in this song, but one of them is Sadie Sink, aka Max from Stranger Things. I know this is not about Stranger Things. I'm not trying to make it about Stranger Things. I'm just saying it's really cool to see Sadie and Maya work on a song together. Now if we can only get Robin and Steve to work on a song together, that'd be pretty cool. Overall, I think this song is a great way to introduce us to the Chaos Angel and to really set the tone of this album. It introduces this idea of trying to make things happen, only making it worse in the process, which I think really sets the tone for how the rest of this album goes. Next up we have Dark, which Maya said is actually about insomnia, and how like when you can't sleep there's really nothing you can do besides just wait it out. And in that process you try to avoid nighttime, you try to outsmart the moon, but obviously you can't really do that. You just kind of have to wait it out in the dark. I couldn't help but think that maybe this is love related. Maybe because it's, you know, the Chaos Angel and it has such a love theme. But also the lyrics seems like she's talking about someone. I think it can also be related to this idea of sleep. If you're in a relationship that isn't perfect, when you don't want to break things off, it's kind of like you learn to avoid that person, or you learn to kind of avoid conflict, to kind of keep things neutral. I don't know. That's just my interpretation. I could be right. It could just be about sleep. I don't know. This song is very melodic. I really like the guitar in this. I really like the guitar and the vocals just go right alongside of each other very nicely. And also the vocals themselves. Now Maya has a raspy voice, but this one in particular, the rasp was rasping, y'all. I don't know if that was intentional, but it kind of does push this idea of that she's tired, that she's up late. Which again is another detail that just pushes the story that I like. Next up is Missing Out. Now this one has a quicker tempo, which is a nice change. That is one of the things I hope to see more from Maya. I hope she messes around with kind of quicker songs and songs that aren't always just slow guitar in your feels type thing, which I'm not saying those songs are bad. I would just love to kind of see more sounds come out of Maya, because Missing Out is a quicker tempo and she does it very nicely. There's also a level of self-awareness in this song, because she says, "I was born with my foot in the door." Now if you don't know, Maya Hawke's parents are both actors. So that makes her, unfortunately, a Nepo baby. She's my favorite Nepo baby, okay? I don't think the Nepo baby label is fair to put on someone if they are truly talented, okay? I don't want to put the Nepo baby label on Maya, because even without her parents, I think she's a very talented young lady. I think she has a level of artistry that would be there without her parents. So yes, technically a Nepo baby, but not, you know, one of those Nepo babies. It's still interesting to see her kind of be aware of that and to kind of play into that and that kind of be one of her insecurities. Because this whole song, how I interpreted it, it's feeling like you're holding yourself back. It's kind of feeling like you're so stuck in your head that you're missing out on life experiences. You're missing out on life, all because you're just kind of sitting back and thinking too much, which is so relatable. This idea of maybe feeling insecure that she is a Nepo baby is very interesting to explore. And yeah, I would love to see more upbeat music from Maya, because I really dig this one. Next up, we have Wrong Again. This one, to me, had a very playful sound to it, and maybe that's intentional, because there's a lot of this in here that kind of sounds like it's an innocent crush. Kind of that moment you realize you are falling for someone and everything's new and exciting. Like, do they like me back? Like, and everything's like fun. So maybe that's kind of why the song sounds playful. The raspy voice is back. I figure her voice is maybe an acquired taste. I personally love it. I think it's part of the storytelling. But the song itself is saying that it's better to put yourself out there and try and to make these memories and it go wrong than to have never tried at all. What's that saying? It's better to have loved and lost than to never love at all. I think it's something along those lines. Because I think even when you're with someone, and even like friends, you know, ultimately those relationships don't work out. The good memories you have with them are still with you. And having those memories and having that experience is sometimes worth the loss. I don't know. The outro of this is very interesting because she says, I need you, I want to be alone. And if that's not the most relatable thing ever, I'm not sure what is. This idea of I'm in love with you, but I'm also like afraid and I want to be away from you and this is scary. I just found that a very relatable thought process. Next up we have okay. This to me felt like trying to be okay for someone else. Like if they're okay, then I'll be okay. Which is literally what she says in the lyrics, but you know. But there's also this level of knowing that you did a bad thing. She says, I'm just like them, maybe referring to an ex or someone in her life who has hurt this person, just for the Chaos Angel to do the exact same thing. The guitar solo in this is a nice change. As I've said before, Maya has mentioned that she wanted each instrument to shine, and I think this is one of those moments. The song is also very repetitive, but I think that is part of the storytelling. It's almost like you're trying to maybe convince someone that you're gonna be okay, but maybe more so trying to convince yourself. You know, this idea of, if I keep telling myself I'm okay, then I'm probably okay. That's how that works, right? Like, I'm gonna be okay. I think this is when those elements of Maya being an actor comes into play, and she really thinks about how the story is gonna be told, not only through lyrics, but also in just how the song's structured, you know what I mean? And it's very fun to see those elements at play. Gooey, 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 gooey. Next up is Better, and we have some auto-tune. And not like JoJo Siwa type auto-tune, but the type of auto-tune that is intentional. Most of the time when I hear singers like overuse auto-tune, the automatic kind of assumption I have with that is trying to take the emotion out of the voice, like trying to detach yourself from these emotions. And when you look at what the actual song might be about, it's maybe almost like being heartless, because again, we have a song that's set up to be very repetitive. It's almost like a person who is continuously hurting someone, then promising to do better, just to hurt them again. And it's just like this endless loop. Now this song is very, very short. It's not even 2 minutes long. And most of it is just vocals. And each kind of loop she goes through, there's like another added layer of vocals in there. And this might represent like the cycle again, like the amount of times this person has promised to do better or say that they'll do better, only to ultimately hurt this person again, and then the cycle continues. I think it's very risky to have a song that is so vocal based. Like, I'm telling you, when I say it's just vocals, it literally just is vocals. And I feel like that is a very risky move to take, but I feel like she did it well. Next up is Big Idea. Now, there's a couple of things within this song that lead me to what I think this song is about. She mentions that all intelligence is artificial, which might be this idea of intelligence is just human perception, right? Like, all of our realities is made up through our experiences and who we are. Which means by that definition, everyone's reality is a little different depending on who they are. And by that, it's kind of artificial because this person's reality is different from this person's reality, which is different from this person's reality, and so on and so forth. There's also, don't let them tell you how to feel. You don't want to believe in the big idea. Hey, what's the big idea? Now, to me, this makes me feel like this song is telling us to not let anyone else warp our reality. Do not let anyone else say what our world should be. Now, the line, you don't believe in the big idea, hey, what's the big idea, could either mean that you're so wrapped up in this lie that people tell you, you kind of lose sense of what it actually was to begin with, or it kind of opens up the question of what is the big idea, what do you want it to mean? And that it's an invitation to start creating your own reality. Towards the end of the song, the lyrics change to, I've got a big idea, perhaps letting us know that she finally has taken charge of what she wants. Now, there's a line in this that makes me think that maybe this is a little political, maybe. I saw the best minds in my generation dismantle a system only to replace it. So yeah, maybe it's kind of going into we're being told lies, and we should not believe the lies, but rather create our own reality that is much better than what they are feeding us. Next up is Hang In There. Now this song seems like it's talking about a bad relationship in which one person did not deserve the treatment that they received. And then so you kind of feel like the person who did the bad things deserves some sort of punishment. But this song is self-aware of like, hey, that person is going to move on and there will be no sort of justice, there's going to be no sort of revenge, so you need to stop waiting on that. Ultimately, that is a tough pill to swallow, you know what I mean? When someone does a bad thing to you, you want them to suffer, you want them to die, I get it. But it's kind of this reality shock of sometimes they do just walk away and there is no consequence for their actions, which absolutely sucks. But the song is also telling us to not wait for for that moment in case it doesn't happen. Rather focus on yourself and hang in there and work on yourself instead of just waiting for this moment of karma. There's a line in this that is probably the most profound line in the entire album, at least in my opinion. What happened to you is not who you are. Everyone knows who you are. It's like this idea of you are not what's happened to you. You are how you behave and how you show yourself to the world. And the people around you and the people who love you know who you are. It's not what happened to you. Yeah, that one just hit me kind of hard. Next to last song is Promise. You can kind of see that Maya's being a little bit of an actor here. She's using the word cinematic, took a picture with your eyes. I understand the story, but I was wrong for the part. So it's this idea of kind of seeing this love story unfold where you know how the story goes, you know what this person wants, but at the same time, you know you are not what this person needs. You know what they want and you are not it, which isn't that just the worst. It's kind of interesting to see her thought process and to see just like how an actor has kind of changed her perception and how she sees things. She's literally kind of seeing the situation like a movie and comparing herself to an actor where it's like, I can't play this role. It's a very fascinating way to look at this situation and I enjoyed that. Now we are at the last song, which is Chaos Angel. The piano in this is once again following along the vocals perfectly, which I like that trick. I just think it's neat. I think this song sums up the character well and also the album. It explores this idea of being self-aware, knowing you are the problem, knowing that you caused all of this hurt, knowing that you caused all of this chaos. But at the end of the day, you're still wanting to love, you're still holding out for love, you're still hoping that this works somehow. Which, at least in how I perceive this character, seems like a good way to kind of sum up that story. I also appreciate the self-awareness of like knowing that you are the problem, that you are the Chaos Angel. Because, you know, everyone at some point in time is the problem. It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me. But I think a lot of us don't want to own up to that. You know, when a relationship goes bad, like, it's not me, it's their fault. To see this level of self-awareness and kind of own up to be like, yeah, I was the problem. I am the Chaos Angel. Very fascinating to see. As for my top 3, I'm gonna go with Missing Out, Hang In There, and Chaos Angel. As always, feel free to share your thoughts below. If you listened to this album, what did you think of it? If you haven't listened to Maya before and you listened to her for the first time, what did you think? If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and subscribe, and as always, I will see you in the next one.